games going on. We're going to hop into Champion Select, and we'll see whether Dade's going to, actually sort of give it 110%. But World Elite, they don't want to see anything from Dade at all. In fact, they don't want to see any of the champions that he plays, and maybe all they want is to see that Xerath.
Yeah, exactly right. So we see Azir, Zed, Lissandra get taken away. The Lissandra's aimed at Lupa. He's played it fantastically. On the other side of the Rift, M3 has got rid of the Nidalee as well as the Rek'Sai. So 2 picks towards the Spirit taken away, as well as the Kassadin being taken away from Ninja. Not surprised at all. And they're picking up the Gnar, it looks like, first pick. Got to agree with that. Lupa looked better on Gnar and Lissandra than he has anyone else.
Yeah, or do they want to take away the Jarvan here? I mean, there are so many different options as far as counter-picking, and STYZ could have also picked away the Corki. They've got the Jarvan now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Lupa lock away that Corki now that it has been the Gnar that's the decision from Aluka.
Yeah, it certainly wouldn't. Corki, not a great tank buster, but in the mid-game has a lot of mixed damage and deals with Gnar very well in a lane swap situation, so wouldn't be surprised if that was a pickup. I want to see what Lupa goes to as kind of his third pick down. We saw the Rumble in there. Don't think that's going to be a staple, although it definitely is a possibility if they lock the Jarvan in just because of how good that combo is. But it will actually be maybe the Thresh taken away from Yuji, and I like that pickup.
Yeah, I like the pickup as well, and it seems like we're playing very sort of reactionary picks, and Condi actually switching last minute to the Lee Sin. I disagree. I entirely disagree. Spirit has looked fantastic on the Jarvan. You have to get rid of it.
Yeah, certainly. Maybe it's a comfort issue trying to get Condi onto a champion that he feels he can play, but I agree. Spirit has looked great on the Jarvan.
And it gives the Narvan combo spawn. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, Narvan I think is a little bit overrated at the point. I think that teams have learned to play around it. I think that definitely the early pressure coming out of Spirit will be more of a factor than the Narvan combo in the late game. But yeah, definitely agree. Very strong picks coming through. The Janna also being picked up. More importantly for WE is it's a very ambiguous lineup. They haven't committed to anything. They're not necessarily an objective-focused team. They're not necessarily a lane swap team. They're completely open to any kind of playstyle at the moment.
Yeah, Candy looking to potentially pick up this Kalista as well as Hecarim's being considered for the top lane. We'll see what Lupa decides to go for as far as summoner spells if he does lock this one in, or maybe it's Dade. Maybe Dade wants to bring the mid-horse into the LPL. Of course, it's happened in the NALCS. A bit of oceanic flavor there from Keen bringing that one in, but it's going to be locked away, and we'll see exactly who's going to play. I have a feeling it's going to be Lupa as we see the summoner spells change over. And Ninja, he's going to go for a last round Ahri.
Yeah, and we've mentioned how huge Ahri's been in the last couple of weeks. I'm surprised it's not the Ezreal pickup, although might be a little bit scared to blind pick that one. If it is the Ahri at this point, I think that Dade does go back towards maybe Zed because he just can't go the Xerath. It's too much of a dangerous matchup coming through.
Yeah.
And Ninja will have Ahri, and this really puts Dade in a strange position. Does he risk it? Does he go back to the Zed and try and play the classic matchup?
It's going to be very difficult because I have a feeling that one's going to be grayed out.
It is. So Zed's gone, so maybe... Oh, he picked it in, it looked great.
Oh dear, we'll see whether it is going to be the victor here for Dade and whether or not he's managed to adjust, because Victor, very newly introduced to the meta here, and you were talking about the fact that Dade takes a while to adjust.
Yeah, it certainly is something along those lines, very GE Tiger-esque. If we cross an ocean and go towards, not an ocean, sorry, if you just go down a little bit and go towards Korea.
Yeah, you still have to go through a little bit of ocean.
Yeah, so that is a very GE Tiger lineup coming through from M3 here, with the Victor, with the Hecarim coming through against a very, very, I guess, strong mid-game composition. A lot of CC coming out, a lot of surprising burst damage.
Yeah, and I mean, do they have enough to protect this Kalista, though? Because, of course, Dade going to be extremely squishy on this Victor, wants to be, like, in amongst it, or, well, has to be in amongst it in order to get his damage down. That gravity field, almost the only CC that he's going to be able to bring to these fights, and Lupa probably just going to be a menace there, trying to mess with the backline of World Elite. Is Candy going to be safe with Just Love CD helping him out?
I don't think it will be Just Love CD. This is the thing I like about the Kalista, Victor matchup, is you just drop the gravity field at her feet, and she has an actual very good time of kiting away by herself with just one ability. As we see in the matchup, Spirit versus Condi, that's where the game for me really will be in WE's favor. I think Spirit will look to bully the new rookie jungler.
Yeah, I could imagine so as well. And this is the dangerous matchup for M3, you have to think, because Dade, on a new champion, not necessarily something that he's generally favored, but we'll see whether it comes through. Of course, it might be just his pocket pick coming through here.
Yeah, exactly right. And in the bottom lane, of course, we have STYZ and UJ. A little bit of a different feeling out of there. The Jana Graves, a very old school lane, I guess, adding a lot of AD to that burst combo. Will look to maybe bully the lane early on, but have to think going against the Corki Thresh, Kalista Thresh, that might be a lane swap.
Yeah, it could be difficult. And we've seen sort of this Jana Graves lane get a little bit dominated by Kalista lanes in the past. It's been a little bit more difficult for Graves to really get ahead without the likes of a Leona for the hard engage. But we'll see how it goes as we hop onto the Rift. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with World Elite taking on M3, formerly World Elite Academy, of course. And our team's going to be fanning out defensively, and we'll see what this first game brings as far as working out where these teams are stacked up at the moment, because a lot has changed since they faced off against one another last time. Yeah,
it certainly has, and we see immediately trying to get vision of where STYZ is. Maybe looking for the lane swap. They've got some more. Everyone's been spotted out on the Rift.
Everyone.
And not really much happening.
No, not entirely a lot, but we'll see what happens as things develop. Of course, Dade is going to have to go back here, as we do have a pause coming through just momentarily, ladies and gentlemen. Dade probably wondering where that damage came from and needs to work out quickly with the technician.
Yeah, it just needs to get back and get some health out. I think that across the board, standard lane matchups, whilst you want a lane swap with a Kalista, you don't want a lane swap with the Hecarim. I think that's why they're actually going for the standard lanes on the side of M3. Maybe just trusting to some nice mechanics coming out of Candy to keep himself alive. But as I said, I really am looking towards Spirit to be aggressive, to counter jungle with the early pressure that it's going to have on Ahri being able to shove out that lane and get in there. Of course, Victor's wave clear, very admirable with that E being able to push out. But across the board, you just feel that they peak earlier on the side of World Elite, which is dangerous for Master3.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to deal with. I think that the reason for this pause, Dade was looking like he was needing to adjust his hair just a little bit. We'll see whether that one's going to be completed relatively soon. Spirit hanging out here as well. It's a sweet mustache.
Certainly was a pretty cool face mask there coming through. And as we see, maybe hearing some pings. There we go. Looks like we're back into the game.
Yeah, heading back through. Ninja throwing out some more orbs of deception, but no Dades to be found in that brush. Loop are going to be moving around, heading towards this bottom side of the map, and we'll see whether this is because we've got a little bit of a lane swap coming through. Welcome back to our spectator client, ladies and gentlemen, as STYZ heading towards this bottom side. We're not going to have Kalista heading towards that top, so we will have standard lanes breaking out here for both teams.
Potentially, because they've sent the Hecarim down to the bottom side of the map. He might just be picking up a camp for himself. Of course, many top laners can do that. Hecarim being normally a jungler, does it better than most with that Q, being able to stack up and looking just for an early level advantage.
Yeah, and hopefully, see, decided not to go for the Raptors, which almost killed one of our LPL Hecarims earlier on in this particular week. But Condi going to be starting here at the rev up, which is interesting because normally you'd go for those Krugs, but wants to guarantee it. Definitely locking away that red early.
Okay, so the thing about Lee Sin is if you start red, you get a lot of health back and you take your W next and you generally survive the jungle much better than if you started a small camp by yourself, just because of how his Q percentage health damage works. So on Lee Sin, if you're going to start by yourself, definitely better to start a big buff.
Okay. Didn't even know. Okay, UJ. Hanging out here on the Janna, but there's a Flay very early on. You can see, look at that W damage in great effect. UJ forced to flash as the Ren comes through. Ignite not going to be quite enough, but M3 definitely sending their message early.
Yeah, looking to get aggressive, and I guess that's how they were going to win the lane, with a good early heads-up play, but because it was onto the support, those 3 potions will tick through, and they've burned a summoner spell on their side as well. Flash was, so it was Ignite for 2 summoner spells, still in their favor, but they haven't been able to get the push they were looking for.
Yeah, STYZ still hanging on to his heal, and we've got Exhaust from UJ here as well, but it was only the Ignite burn for 2 flashes. That's definitely working out in M3's favor, and we'll see whether that means that Condi's going to head down to this bottom side a little bit earlier on. You can see Ninja just happily farming up here against Dade. We're actually taking a lot of aggression here from Ninja as well. Dade actually using that empowered auto attack on the creeps. Candy.
Ooh, zoned off the cannon creep. That is a very unfortunate situation for STYZ.
That's not going to land. Dangerous stuff coming through. Top lane, not so dangerous, ladies and gentlemen, as we've got a bit of a tank battle up there.
Although we do have an Ignite, and you have to remember in a top lane, if you can get a jungler up there, Ignite does surprising damage that sometimes you're not willing to, I guess, take into account at the start of the game. Spirit looking to get aggressive early. We mentioned that that might be the case. A very deep ward coming through. A trio of very deep wards trying to get some vision over Condi.
Yeah, making sure that Ninja has complete control of this mid lane as well.
Yeah, so good utilization of that from Spirit. Also looking to maybe come in on the bottom lane, set that back in his team's favor, although we'll just go back to farming up. And we've seen Spirit play polarizing ways. The farm heavy, try and carry with some champions. We even saw the Riven at the start of the season. But he's also gone back to more of a gank prioritized counter jungling over some junglers as well. And the second option seems to be helping out a little bit more.
Yeah, Spirit just seems to be able to adjust his playstyle on the fly. I mean, there's a lot of these junglers that tend to fall into, you know, their one style of play. I mean, thinking about Insec here just a little bit, of course, loves to be aggressive all the time. But Spirit seems to be able to do whatever his team needs or whatever he feels like doing on the day. Yeah,
exactly right. And right now he's looking for a counter gank coming through. Nothing happening, so we'll go back over the wall. Of course, he's carrying that Raptor buff around, so knows he hasn't been spotted out by any wards. And this has allowed his bottom lane to have a little bit of pressure relief because he hasn't been sighted on the map for quite some time, as well as the mid lane to just continue to shove.
Yeah, and speaking of shoving, I mean, Candy is having the wave pushed back towards him, and you can see 5 CS is the lead here for this Kalista. And is this just not going the way STYZ can afford to let it go here in the bottom lane?
I still think STYZ will be completely fine with the Jarvan Cataclysm coming through. They have a lot of damage at level 6, and I think that he is just willing to farm up. If he doesn't make anything happen before level 9, then it's completely in Candy's favor. And we actually have a gank coming through here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, there's actually the flash forward from Love City. He gets caught by the Howling Gale, but STYZ, lot of damage. Yuja is going to be focused, though, and insta-killed by that Ren. That was ridiculous, and this Janna a little bit too squishy at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and a very good heads-up play out of the jungler. We mentioned that that might be one area that M3 are behind him, but First Blood goes over to their line off the back of a very good gank.
Yeah, of course, and having those 2 flashes down early definitely paying dividends, and Conde reacting accordingly here and having a better game. I mean, there were some questionable plays by Conde yesterday, of course, with his first sort of debut onto the Rift, not necessarily being the most fantastic, but you have to say that that gank was brilliant.
Yeah, and we see that it's also led to maybe an early dragon, although the ping does come out.
Yeah, Yuja might be able to spot this one out. It is down to 600 health, though, and that dragon is definitely going over to M3. No vision actually afforded here for World Elite either. So they're going to have a rough idea for when that went down. Of course, having Love City not in this lane means that they probably think that that may have happened. But Dade forced out of the mid lane here as well. Condi extraordinarily low, can't really offer any help, and Ninja's just been having his way with this mid.
Yeah, he's down in CS, which is in Dade's favor. It has been able to farm up relatively well. Ninja actually went aggressive onto Dade there, who had to use both his summoner spell. Ninja, as you can see, only had to use the ultimate as well as the ignite, so saves his flash. So he comes out ahead in the trade. However, in saying that, with the amount of, I guess, focus that Spirit was doing around the mid lane, roaming around, making sure he was denying vision, being even in CS is probably in Dade's favor.
Well, he's probably going to be absolutely fine with it, of course. Very even on gold. No difference is going to be coming through there. Of course, if Ninja managed to pick up that kill, you could imagine he'd probably be able to snowball it. But having that Hex Core upgrade, meaning that Dade can clear out waves so much more quickly, assuming that he has actually evolved or, I guess, augmented his Death Ray.
Yeah, that's generally what we see, the Death Ray coming through. It's just such good wave clear and persistent harass if you can get it in the minion wave. So looking to see how far he can push this. Of course, Victor gets an earlier power spike because of the fact that he can choose to augment the abilities as opposed to have to wait for only items.
Yeah, and of course that Hex Core actually gives you a whole lot of ability power as well. You get a bit of mana for it. I mean, it's a decent item here, and in the late game, because it scales with level, is just stupid. I think you can get numbers like 160 ability power with just that item that, yeah, you have to buy it. But you'd buy it anyway.
Yeah, exactly right. It definitely is in his favor. So Victor, being a very nice champion at this point, definitely has some weaknesses like being camped, which is why Dade without summoner spells has to play so far back. But you just see the raw damage that can come out of that E.
Yeah, Halingo going to find Love City there, but STYZ now playing further up in this lane. Hasn't gone back to buy any items. Of course, both of these AD carries still sitting on those Doran's rings. Condi has actually set up shop here in the top side. Has now got that kick as well as Aluka.
Oh, they've gone in on the bottom side.
Yeah, there's the box actually coming down. Yuja getting trapped there, but Fate's call comes through. Candy might be in. Oh, that leapfrog was so cute as the Dark Passage going to get Candy to safety. Man, that was cool.
Yeah, that was a very heads-up play coming out of the bottom lane, but they do have to use both ultimates for it. And with no one having shopped yet, although the first blood went over as well as some CS in the advantage. Ooh.
Yeah, Condi actually finds Aluka there. Just kicks him to safety. Yeah. Yeah.
So a little bit of a misplay, but with no one buying in the bottom lane yet, the lane is in Graves' favor because of all the raw power he gets out of levels, as opposed to Candy, who really relies on those auto attacks coming through and stacking up the rend. With the buckshot and collateral damage, as well as a Janna shield, you have to feel that STYZ pretty comfortable if no one shops ever.
Yeah, well, that's very, very true. Candy actually now forced under his turret, doesn't have that Hurricane yet, and we'll see whether he actually decides to buy it. Of course, the likes of him not actually wanting to pick up that item at all. But we'll see what he does go back and pick up. And you're right. I mean, Graves being that caster AD, you're just going to naturally benefit more from those levels.
Well, I'm being able to grab all of that raw AD in the form of the BF and the pickaxe. That's a fantastic first shot coming through there.
Oh, so efficient too. Only had 12 gold left over. That is wonderful.
As we see Dade still playing so far back, looking for his blue buff now, although it's been invaded maybe by Spirit pinging out that one.
Yeah, he's actually pinging like he's going over there, but you can see Condi already started that up, and Spirit, he's just going to take away the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, Scuttle Crab. My favorite objective on the game. Just gives you so much gold
so
for
good.
absolutely no fight. As you can see, 82 going over under the jungle. So important to be able to pick those up often and early.
Yeah. Spirit now going to find his way here. Actually, Condi forced to use that flash. There's a flash Cataclysm, though. And Love City, what? That Dark Passage, not exactly in the right spot.
So what happens, he cast it on the wall and it went to the shortest part, which was actually over into the turret. So just a little bit of a mistake there. Does cost the jungler his life, and very good invade early on from Spirit here, although having to use a lot for it.
Yeah, Fate's Call actually going to come down, gets the knock on at STYZ, an easy death sentence to help the Graves go down. The flash in from Candy, but Spirit's here. Looper teleports in. Spirit going down solo. Candy picks up the kill. Onslaught of Shadows, though. STYZ falls down at the same time. It's a double kill so far for M3, but in comes Ninja, and Candy falls down. Aluka chasing Loot. Oh my goodness. That Gnar was insane. It's a 2 for 2. And everyone was involved.
Yeah, so in the end, a very good trade coming out.
Apart from Dade. He decided not to come down.
So Dade actually shopped, and that's what facilitated the roam that came out of Ninja there. Being able to pick up 2 kills is crucial in this matchup. Didn't even get really punished by that wave hitting his turret. Looper with a very heads-up teleport, able to get down there a little bit early as well. So overall, top lane probably coming out ahead for M3, and mid lane coming out so far ahead for World Elite.
Yeah, but Aluka's Gnar was also fantastic. Straight into that wallop as well, and it just shows how much he's improved over this season for World Elite. We were talking about the fact that Aluka sort of plays these super tanks, but just wasn't able to get much done in that top lane earlier on in the season. But so far, it's sort of been the evolution of Aluka's story for World Elite.
Yeah, it certainly has. He's been playing much better as the season progressed, as you mentioned. I just think that if you can turn the Hecarim into a damage threat early in the game and not have to forgo tankiness, as you can see that Grey Shield Shroud already being picked up, it just spells such bad news for a short carry like Graves, because he just can't get away.
And he can't really do much in response here as well. Death Sentence going to come through, but not find them. But that Rend easily able to lock down the Dragon here for M3. They've got 2 already at 13 minutes into this game. Already accelerating through. You can see Aluka getting some deep vision.
There's a lot of damage going through on both members.
Oh, the Sonic Wave doesn't land here as Ninja able to nimbly get out of the way of that one. Dade, sorry, has to be careful. He's going to head back to base here as well, but no kills to go through in these mid laners, but so much fighting.
Yeah, I don't think there was a ward available on the Sightstone, which meant he couldn't get in range without his flash to set up the kick into the resonating strike. So had to try and throw it out. In the end, very good sidestep out of Ninja and some re-aggression to force Dade out of the fight. Very nicely played overall, and Dade once again has to go back to shop.
He's going to head back to base. Oh, usually gets caught by that death sentence. There's the flayback here as well. There's Fate's Call. Doesn't actually land the knock-up, and that's a beautiful Monsoon to get Love City under that turret. STYZ tries to get down the damage, but not going to be enough as Candy just rends Yuji to death.
Yeah, and once again, Spirit looking towards the bottom lane, but not able to get down there soon enough, and 2-1-2. That's a very good news story coming out of M3. This should be the bully lane, but that's not happening at all.
Yeah, just unable to get anything done. And having Yuji on this sort of reactionary support, he isn't able to react enough. I mean, that was a great Monsoon to get Love City under the turret, but pretty tanky here on this Thresh.
Yeah, it certainly is. Goes that Sightstone first, as well as, of course, having the upgraded Bulwark come through as well. So very nice play there. In the top lane, Condi is just recalling, is starting to fall a little bit behind as well. More aggression.
Yeah, there's the gravity field coming down as well. Misses the charm, though, does Ninja.
That's without ultimate. That's how much Dade does in damage with a rotation of spells without even throwing the ultimate out there. And that's why we see a lot of Victor being picked up. The damage potential is just so high.
Yeah, and if you land the auto attack after your Q there as well, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. We return to the top lane where Lupa having a little bit of a harder time farming now that Nah has some levels into that Q, of course. One of the best at... Ooh.
Ninja, you have to be very careful, mate. Gravity field comes down. Isn't going to stop the tower from doing anything, Dade. STYZ. Oh, there's the Fate's Call to come down. STYZ getting knocked up. There's the box for a little bit of additional damage. The Ren coming through early as Candy gets the shield from that one. Oh, actually dives very deep into this one as well. STYZ falls down. Condi's here just to hang out, and he's going to pick up an assist on that last one. Double kill now for this Kalista. 4-1-2.
Oh, and Dade in the mid lane turns around a 2v1.
Yeah, he's actually going to go down to Spirit in the end, but 1-for-1, he'll take it.
Yeah, he certainly will. What a good heads-up play, being able to secure the kill. This Kalista, though, is getting out of control.
Oh, Spirit actually under the turret. Condi flashes after him, picks up the kill, not going to die to that turret, and just walks out. So in the end, I guess in that mid lane, it's going to be a 2-for-1.
Yeah, so 4-for-1 across the map.
Yeah.
If you take it into account, and that's absolutely huge. Pick up the first objective as well, being that turret. They've got 2 dragons already, a 3,000 gold advantage, and this is what we've been seeing more often out of M3. Very good, consistent game ones. Whether they can win a game 2, I'm yet to be convinced, but game 1 at least looking very much in control.
Yeah, and Candy now picks up the BF sword, has the Vamp Scepter here as well. And things getting very, very scary for our World Elite friends as Dade, he's going to come down and pick up his blue buff. Of course, able to secure that one very easily. Lupa hanging out here in this mid lane as well. He's moving down. The Dragon not going to be available for the next little while as they have already taken 2 of them.
Yeah, and you see that they're actually rotating the duo into the top lane now, trying to secure as many objectives as possible. But wow,
yeah, Condi in a lot of trouble. Sonic waves his way out of it. Gravity field there just to try and zone, but Ninja Spirit rushes over the wall, doesn't land the charm there onto Lupa here on the backside, but he can pick up 1 kill, not too bad at all. 3-1-1, but that's going to be the bottom lane outer turret falling for STYZ. Just unaware of what was going on in the jungle, just wanted to kill some objectives.
Yeah, the PvE coming through, but Aluka now being aggressed on.
Yeah, there's the Fate's Call, death sentence to come through as well, and it's just another day in the office here for Love City. There's the flash forward, actually hasn't rendered yet as Candy. There's the render finally come down. Is he going to be able to get the auto attack? Oh, the arrow, the pierce to pick up the kill, and Candy, he's just getting so far ahead on this Kalista.
Yeah, 5-1-2 now, being able to take down 2 turrets solo, and they're just playing aggressive at every point, trying to get their team in an advantage across the map. And you see how much pressure they're putting out. No one responding. They're picking up another unanswered turret.
Yeah, and we were talking about Candy looking fantastic on that Corki, but his Kalista mechanics this game have looked brilliant.
Yeah, it certainly has stepped up here, and what we said was a pseudo counter of that Graves, of course. Maybe the support's just playing in their favor. And in the pregame, we mentioned Yuji just does not look the same if he isn't on the Thresh.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, LoveCD picking that one away. He's looked fantastic in response.
Yeah, he certainly has had a fantastic job of it. But when you're thrown on top of people, it is much easier to hit skill shots.
Yeah, that's true. If you're right in their face and they're knocked up into the air, it's pretty obvious that they're not going to be able to juke.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Good point, Jake.
And we see Victor in the mid lane actually going for a death cap second item. So Dade not respecting the, I guess, assassination potential coming out of this Ahri at this point, who looks like will be going towards the Abyssal Scepter. And this might be the third dragon for M3 at only 19 minutes.
Yeah, they've got the Ren. This is easily going to be taken down. It's actually Lupa that picks it up. Charm not going to find it, but there goes the box. Fate's Call to come through here. Actually goes really deep into that backline. Dade picks up Spirit. There's the onslaught of shadows from Lupa into the backline. SDYZ has to deal with this huge horse, but Ninja is going huge. Double kill already. Candy gets exhausted. Aluka trying to do some work. Dodges out of the way. And look at that. Candy just outplaying left, right, and center. This is going to be the triple kill. You have to think. The Pierce picks it up. Blind there onto UJ. Beautiful play. And that's actually an ace coming through for M3.
Ace and the third dragon coming through. Fantastic holding of the ult coming out of Lupa, and then Candy went nuts in the backline, just able to get through a lot of the spells. And we mentioned if you can't get rid of Kalista at the start of the fight, it becomes extremely hard to hold her down.
Yeah, and Ninja, I mean, he played that brilliantly, picked up a double kill early on, took down Dade, took down Condi there as well, but then could not land an ability on this Kalista at all. I mean, she was just dancing out of the way of every orb and every charm.
Yeah, just way too mobile. Let's take a look at it again. So, able to get it started up with LoveCD. Keep an eye on Dade because he gets a very good gravity field here as well as ultimate, and flashes out and lands a not bad death ray. So from there, it looks like it's in their favor, but then Ninja, as you mentioned, nails everyone repetitively. Able to pick Dade up there. Gets a lot of damage down onto Candy, but Candy just too good. Able to dance around the fight, use that Ren to reset, dodges out on a charm right there, and it was fantastic. Meanwhile, in live, yeah, see in the bottom right-hand corner, maybe Dade picking up a kill.
Yeah, so Dade, he's going to grab that one. Not too bad at all. Spirit's going to fall down there, but my goodness, M3 really with a lot of control. With the jungler dead, is this going to be M3 going for a Baron?
Yeah, they certainly have a lot of Baron damage coming through right now. Teleport is available on their top lane of Lupa, so they've started it up, have been spotted out. Condi not tanky enough.
Yeah, that was a brilliant scrying orb to be used there by SDYZ. Notices that that Baron's available. Oh, Ninja actually getting knocked up here from LoveCD. Throws out the Dark Passage. Comes over the wall there as well with a flash. The Ignite's burning down. Condi takes down Ninja though in the back line. He's going to fall for it. Candy picks up SDYZ though. That's the two damage threats are already dead for World Elite, and that has to mean some objectives here for M3. They can take down this inner turret, but can they take more?
Yeah, more importantly, all the wave clear gone. The Ahri and the Graves off the map. They have absolutely no one to withstand this onslaught, apart from maybe the Gnar, which just isn't going to be enough. They push into the base, take down the first base turret of the game.
Yeah, inhibitor turret going to fall down. They are going to be able to take this inhibitor. SDYZ up in another 2 seconds. 6 on Ninja. This inhibitor is going to fall down, and M3 say, yeah, we won't do the Baron, but we'll take your base.
Yeah, good heads-up play to be able to get that one started. And across the board, this is a very aggressive M3. I don't think we've seen them play this proactive, and all of it is the bottom lane. 13 out of 17 kills for the AD carry participations. 12 out of 17 for the support. They've done an absolute fantastic job of pretty much smashing STYZ.
Yeah, STYZ has been a non-factor in this entire game. I mean, 0-4-4. The gold is just stupid in response. And Candy is just running away with this game. And we were talking about the fact that Kalista's a little bit strong at the moment. And I think that's being illustrated here.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we saw that the teams had kind of started to figure it out, but just not enough lockdown CC apart from the Ahri. I really have to go back to the Janna support. Don't agree with it in the composition whatsoever. It was good because it was an ambiguous pick, but hasn't really led to anything. Good ability to pick up a turret. Dada actually nearly falls in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, he's just going to die to the collateral damage as well. Walks in a little bit too far. Ninja going to charm up Condi here, but there's the onslaught of shadows. STYZ already dead. We don't have Candy in this fight just yet as Condi kicks out Ninja. Lupa just being massive on the front line. He's going to take down Ari himself. Fate's call onto a Luca here as Candy wants to get some action in this fight. The play away from the wall so that Aluka couldn't bounce. Beautiful play from Love CD, and you have to think M3 probably just going to take down the Baron now as Lupa finds himself in the enemy base.
Yeah, gets himself another kill as well. He'll be able to go towards that Baron and tank it up. And in the end, what a game out of M3 across the board, completely smashing World Elite. The surrender comes through at 23 minutes.
Yeah, 23-minute surrender coming down from World Elite. They don't want to have anything to do with this game, and when you think of M3 as being World Elite Academy, I think that they maybe gave them a few too many of their secrets.
Yeah, just too many tips given away. The only thing they can take away from that was Spirit Cataclysm ulted him because Lupa didn't have Flash, couldn't kill him in the last fight. So the moral victory coming through for Spirit. But in the end, across the board, really with the exception of maybe mid lane, which was pretty even, that game was completely in M3's favor.
Yeah, 9-1-4 for Candy as well. I mean, ridiculous Kalista performance. And we've spoken about the fact that Graves is very strong against Kalista, but needs to be paired with an engage-heavy support. And we've seen from the likes of LGD, I mean, the Graves-Leona lane is fantastic. Even if you dodge it early, level 6, you've just got way too much burst, way too much lockdown, and that Kalista's going to die. But in this situation, Yuji wasn't really able to do anything.
Yeah, exactly right. Yuji coming through with a very passive support. And the problem was that if he got hit by a death sentence, Love CD was holding it for that long that he was able to still get on top of it. Or even if they did blow him back, the Fate's call would come through, throw him straight back into the fight. So
yeah,
really not enough disengage tools to be able to deal with what was a very difficult lane. And the Ren's slow, I think, is very underrated. Yeah, sure, the damage is great, but that slow is brutal in the long lane.
Yeah, it's just stupid. And one thing that I want to highlight here as well is the Fate's Call into Dark Passage leapfrog maneuver. That was so damn cool coming through from the bottom lane of M3. Love to see it. We'll see whether we can see that one again. But ladies and gentlemen, there is still, of course, one more game to go in this series, and we'll see whether World Elite can find a win before they have to head over to IEM.